Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cooper, and today we are joined by two, I think regulars now on the podcast. It's his second appearance. We're joined by Jord. Jord, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And of course, we're joined by none other than blue ticked now, Dave Azzopardi. Dave, welcome to the club, mate. How are you? Look at that face. Look how happy he is.
Thank you very much, Matt. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm all good. All good, thanks.
Very well deserved, if I do say so myself, mate. You put a lot of work into what you do, so
Cheers,
fully deserved.
Thank you.
There's all the nicest out of the way. Right, you wanker. Let's talk about Burnley. Let's talk about that Burnley game. In fact, let's tell you what we're going to talk about throughout the podcast. So we're going to talk about the Burnley game, which is an absolute car crash. We're going to preview the Brighton game, discuss the latest news that was dropped earlier today, as in Tuesday, by John Percy at the Telegraph surrounding summer plans at Molineux. We'll also have a quiz, and of course, we will answer some of your questions. But lads, let's cast our minds back to Sunday, 2:00, Turf Moor. I remember speaking to you, Jord, a couple of weeks ago after the Newcastle game, and I said I'm expecting exactly the same at Burnley, and it's pretty much carbon copy of what we got, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I actually thought first half, and this is probably a weird thing to say, it's probably one of our better first half performances at Turf Moor in recent years. I actually felt, in terms of the way performances go in the Premier League, I felt comfortable. We were creating a few chances. I thought Fabio looked quite lively, and we were winning the midfield battle. And that's usually what Burnley tend to do. So they just seem to outman us, which is probably a weird and a bad thing to say, but usually bully us a little bit. And I thought Moutinho Dendoncker was standing up to that battle quite well. And first half, I was relatively happy and comfortable with it all. And then second half, we came out a little bit sloppy. I don't think there was much in the game. And then as soon as we would go 1-0 down, it's just game over with us, isn't it? It's just this year, I think we won 3 points from losing positions all year, and that was that Villa turnaround in the last 10 minutes. And yeah, I know we'll get into a bit more detail, but there's a lot of questions to be asked of this current squad for me.
Absolutely. I know on the last podcast I broached the topic of almost the squad having no bollocks, and I think that's I think that's quite a big label to put on a team. I think that you can always you can be outplayed and that be not have the ability, but to lack bollocks, I think is it's not something people take lightly. But you've got to almost look at it, haven't you? Like you've just said there, there's only been one game this season where we've gone behind and we've managed to get something from the game, and that was the Villa game where we were absolutely awful for 80 minutes. But Dave, what do you think? What do you think the problem is? Do you think that when it really comes down to it, when the going gets tough, this team just doesn't get going, does it?
Yeah, I think, like you said, we spoke about it a little bit in the last episode, just in terms of lack of grit and lack of fight sometimes. Like Jord said, I thought the first half, it was just wave after wave of Wolves attacks, wasn't it? Burnley were clearing the ball and Bolly was winning literally everything. And, it was just almost a matter of time. I think if we played that first half for another 5-10 minutes, we may well have found, the back of the net. And I don't know what switched. I don't think Burnley changed their approach as such. I think we just almost, just went a little bit more negative and started sitting deeper ourselves when we really didn't need to. Again, this is the case of, such a big chance for Wolves. Burnley not having Cornet in their squad. A little bit like Leeds earlier in the season. We played them with a number of players missing and dropped points there. Despite having the advantage in that game. It's happened 3 or 4 times this season. And you know what? If we actually just had the right approach in 2 or 3 of these games, look where we'd be in the league. I saw a league table earlier on. From the 1st of January, Wolves are actually 5th in the Premier League. We could have been the 2nd or 3rd best team in the league easily. And it's just stupid games, stupid results, just disappointing away performances, which is frustrating because our away form, probably up until sort of January, was pretty good. But yeah, no fight, and it's frustrating. I know we'll talk about transfer rumours and stuff later on, but yeah, it sounds harsh saying something needs to change, but it kind of does. There definitely needs to be some sort of personnel change in the squad.
Yeah, I was having a discussion with someone on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, I think. I can't remember the bloke's name, but he did raise some valid points. So if you are listening to this, make sure you drop a comment because I can't remember for life, but you are. he was saying we do not score enough goals. It's a problem. And I said, well, as long as we keep them out down the other end, it doesn't really matter. Plus, in the second half of it, since the turn of the year, we've been one of the highest scorers in the league. But I never thought we'd say this, but if you take Pedence out of this team, we create absolutely nothing. And I've not been Pedence's biggest fan. I think this season has almost been a bit of a baptism of fire. I think he was underutilized during Nuno's time. But Jord, without him in the team, we don't look to create anything. And I think he's up there with chances created, excluding set pieces, isn't he? In the league, I think he is.
Yeah, and I think the big thing without Pedence in the team is we've got no one who tries to play through the lines or even tries to play down the sides of the fullbacks or anything like that. And that's where Burnley's goal come from. McNeil cut it in playing a sliding the ball in between Sice and I think it was Sice and Johnny, wasn't it? And the pullback comes to Vidra and it's into the back of the net. And without Pedence, we don't have that. And I think how I was quite intrigued by the formation in terms of having Jimenez, Fabio, and Hwang to see how it looks like. And I think that Hwang, it looks like we bought him prematurely now. Let's be honest about that. But I also don't think we're playing to his strengths in the way of when he got his reputation in that Salzburg team. He was playing off Haaland, and he was pretty much playing on the last man, winning the flick-ons from Haaland, etc. Whereas we're giving him the ball to feet, and I don't think he's that good on the ball, to be honest with you. He looks like a bang average player when he's got the ball to feet. Raul out on the right to try and get him in the team. I don't know what to say about him. I feel very slanderous to say anything bad about the guy because he's the best striker I've seen in a Wolves shirt, bar Robbie Keane for me. And
you fucking know you're showing your age now, Jord.
Yeah, I know.
That's a debate that's a whole debate for another podcast, isn't it?
Best striker I've seen since Derek Dugan.
But it's like, at the moment, it feels like Jimenez is getting in the team on reputation, and not just reputation this season, past reputation.
Yeah.
Phenomenal player for us in his prime, but he hasn't. I don't think he's warranted a guaranteed starting place in this Wolves team all season. And he was just flat again. And the fact that Fabio came off, I've got no answers as to what Bruno's seen to make that change.
Did you go to the game, Jord?
No, but I watched it on Astro Super Sport 1. There you go.
Nice. I hope that's legal. I was at the game.
3 miles away.
I haven't got a blue tick. I don't need to be careful.
Yeah, I was at the game, and when the ball came up for Fabio, I've not seen a reaction to a sub like that all season. There was boos. There was like literal boos, and I was one of them because I don't think Hwang played that badly as badly as people are making it out to be. He was better than he has been. Still, obviously, nowhere near good enough. But for me, if anyone was going to come off, it was Jimenez. Although Silva, he, like I said, didn't score, which is the big question mark that always is above his head, especially with those on Facebook in the Wolves groups who absolutely hound the bloke. It had to be Jimenez who's come off, because if anyone was going to score, I thought it was Fabio. So unless it's a fitness thing, I don't get it. And I think you are right, Jord. Jimenez is in the team purely based on the credit in the bank he's got from the previous 2 or 3 seasons. But you know what? It's fair enough. But I think it was any other player to be out of the team. I don't know what you think about it, Dave.
Yeah, I think it's hard because Jimenez, obviously, for 60, 65 minutes of the game, played out of position.
Yeah.
I think when we all saw that lineup, we thought sound. Silva and Jimenez as the front 2, and then Hwang as the sort of number 10 in the hole. But we didn't see that. Jimenez was really playing as a winger especially throughout the first half. When we had the front foot, I thought that Jimenez, if he drifted a little bit more centrally with Silva, tried some sort of, quick 1-2s and so on, we were in. Thought Semedo picked up some nice positions as well. So yeah, it was frustrating. I think you're right. I know there's a lot of people. There's some people that are in our comments or speak to us and say, "Yeah, I agree with you about Fabio Silva." And then there's others that say, "I can't understand why you're backing Fabio Silva." I think at the moment he's still such a Marmite player, and I think he's still got a long way to go. I'm not a big fan of Hwang. I've said that since especially since January, since we triggered the clause. I just thought it was way too early. Again, I've said it a couple of times, and I'm sure I'll regret one or two of them, but the fact that we've triggered that clause when he was just coming back from an injury and he'd only scored sort of however many goals, 4 goals since, September or October, it just doesn't make sense to me, especially when you got till the end of the season to trigger it.
But this is the thing, mate. Like, if he was to come back and then did his cruciate ligament, where are we then?
That's what I said to you about the Neto deal. Yeah. Johnny came back from a long-term ACL injury, and we give him a new 3-year deal last year. He played about 3 games and done his other ACL. So I know he's come good now, but how often have you seen players come from 2 ACL injuries and can't run? That was such a stupid decision at the time. And then they've done it with Neto. And I get it from a club point of view, because you want to make the player feel welcome and sort of give him almost a big morale booster when they're coming back into the team. But same with Neto as well. We're still yet to see him break back into the first team and so on.
It looks miles off it, mate. He looks nowhere near fit.
Yeah, so I don't know with Hwang. I think Jord's right in regards to he's a player that, as mad as it sounds, he's a footballer that he can't really play football as such. He has to run onto the ball and so on. You think about his goals, the 2 against Newcastle especially, were 2 great through balls from Jimenez, which he ran onto, took a couple of touches and put the ball in the back of the net. But as a player, I think with Bruno, he's almost, at times, he wants to play football. He wants to get the ball on the ground and knock it about. And I don't think Hwang's the right player to do it. If you put him on the last man to run onto things and sound, because that worked with Adama as well. Like, so many times he got a lot of stick. The last 2 weeks of his Wolves career, he scored the goal against Southampton when he was on the last man, and he scored the goal against Brentford, which was disallowed, where he was on the last man. Start putting Hwang there and see what happens.
I don't get it. We'll obviously discuss the Burnley game in a bit more detail after this point. But Jimenez on Sunday, it was, and I described it on the fans reacted. So Jord, I don't know if you've ever played pro clubs on FIFA. Have you ever played it?
I'm too old, aren't I?
Oh yeah. So it's like when you play that and you've not touched the ball in not 3 or 4 minutes, and none of your mates want to pass it to you because you're shit and you always give the ball away. This person, by the way, is me. That's Dave. Yeah. I am this person. And when you get the ball, you think, right, I'm gonna do 3 or 4 players here. I'm gonna take everyone on. I'm gonna try a Hollywood pass, or I'm gonna smash one from 40 yards. And that's what I felt Jimenez was like on Sunday. Like, his decision making was absolutely terrible. I mean, there was a couple of times where, all right, to credit to him, he's out of position, and he did pick up some good positions in between that inside pocket between Charlie Taylor, and we had a lot of success with that in the first half because Semedo was stretching Taylor out and wide, didn't know where to pick him up. But there was times we picked the ball up, and I don't know if he's got too much time on the ball or it's not a familiar position, but it's just decision making and final ball was terrible. I remember that the run he had in the second half where he could have played Hwang through, if he just slid him through, and he decided to try and take 2 or 3 touches and have a shot. Like, I don't get it. And there's been a lot of times this season where his decision making has been very, very poor. But you know what? When do we get to the point where we're like, look, he's had a serious injury. He's extremely lucky to even be alive, not play football. But when are we going to be having the conversation where it may be that, I don't know, he may not be right for the way we want to play. He may not be the Raul Jimenez of old, and it kills me to say that, but maybe the case, and maybe we need to discuss that in the summer. It's a big talking point, and a lot of fans feel strongly about it, and rightly so. He's done very well.
I think that'll be one that, again, and that's what football is all about, opinions. But that is one that's going to massively split opinion, isn't it? I'm hoping. I agree with you there. I think it's been a poor season for him, and I was frustrated on Sunday. But I think I sort of ignore that performance a little bit because of where he actually played for most of the game. But you look at him, you look at Fabio Silva, then you go back to last season, you look at Willian Jose, we're struggling to score goals. Now, yes, I agree that part of that is coming down to the strikers, but you've also got to look at the central midfield or the playmaker option as well. We haven't had a proper central midfielder or playmaker for the last 2 years. We've been relying on the same creative sources, really. So I don't know. I think I'd give him another year if it was me, but you've got to make sure you get those right creative players, whether that be Morgan Gibbs-White or whether that be somebody else that you're going to be bringing in. I know we're going to talk about rumours a little bit later, but I think you've got to give him another year.
I think
before we can start this discussion.
One gilt edge opportunity in the first half where I think he was left foot off miles away anyway, and it was at the other end of the pitch. But you raise a good point there, Dave. We didn't really create much apart from that to him to miss chances. We didn't create many shot creating chances. So it's a real difficult one. There's rumours of Bayern Munich being interested in him as a replacement for Lewandowski, which I find hard to believe.
Yeah,
Even rumours that he wants to go back to Mexico, or which is something I'd probably say is a bit more believable than the Bayern Munich rumours. But it's definitely a conversation to be had in the summer. I get why fans get protective over him though, because of what he's done for the club. And for me, he's still the the best striker I've ever seen at Molineux. But there is no time for sentiment in football. We've seen it at our club. When you start being sentimental with stuff, you end up falling down the divisions, and maybe there is a conversation to be had about it. But let's talk about the Burnley game. Going back to that, lads, because we digress a little bit there. Like Jord said, first half was all right, but second half it was just I don't know what happened. I really do not know, and it just felt spineless. And you knew as soon as they scored, you could see our players. It was just like, oh my god, how are we going to get out of this?
Yeah, we're not. That's the thing. I looked at that. I looked at it. I watched it, and there's been so many times this season where, well, you can look back, since we've been back in the Premier League, and again, it feels really harsh to say about the amount of times we chuck it and we just bottle games and big moments. We don't win big games. The only big game we've won in the last 3 years, or it's at least felt like, is Man United in the quarterfinal of the Cup. Every time it's a big game, we fold. We completely fold under it. And that team on Sunday, you look at it, with bar Connor Cody, there's no leaders on that pitch. And I know people might point to Moutinho. He's a great player. He leads by example. I wouldn't say he's a leader. He's not going to get anyone by the scruff of the neck and show that passion, as people would call it.
Passion.
Have some fun passion. It's like there's no one. Anytime we go one down, we just look like we feel sorry for ourselves. No one takes a game by the scruff of the neck. That's not about clattering someone. It's just someone just trying to do something a little bit different to change the game. And we bring on Neto, and I think for me, you can see Neto's been rushed back because of Europe was on the cards. I think personally, and Adama's gone, and I think he's miles off it, like you've mentioned already. If we end up losing Saturday and we that gap for Europe gets even bigger, I just wouldn't even put him in the squad for the rest of the season. I'll just say, look, have yourself a bit of a break, have a pre-season, because he's nowhere near it. And I think when we went 1-0 down, I can't even remember us having a spell in the game where they're under pressure. Burnley, it was the most comfortable 1-0 for a team that are under pressure, fighting and scrapping for their lives. We made it so easy. We just roll over and got our bellies tickled. It's not good enough for me. We're having a really good season. I thought top 10 at the start of the season would be a good season. Look how great it could have been. You got this Burnley game, Newcastle, the 2 Arsenal games, Leeds at home, Leeds away. We could. There's no reason why we couldn't be 5th this season. No doubt, easy. And it's just
We've been saying all season, and predominantly after each window, we hope this isn't going to be what could have been season. Unfortunately, that's the way it seems to be unravelling, which is frustrating. And it hasn't really been backed, and these aren't his players. But I've been screaming for the rooftops how great Bruno is, but he's got to be accountable for some of this. He has to be. But I've seen some fans calling for his head, which I think he's extremely premature. From someone who called for Nuno's head. I was one of the first to do it. I won't be calling for manager's head that quickly again. I fucking tell you that for free. But I thought it was a bit premature. But we've lost 6 out of the last 8. I think you got to ask some questions about him. He's not immune to criticism, is he, Dave?
No, I think I heard that on Sunday. I couldn't believe it. It didn't feel like our record was that bad. But
Villa win, I think.
Yeah, every time, West Ham throw it away and we have a chance to actually climb above them, we're like, actually, let's leave it.
No one really wants that 7th place.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is. I think he's too reactive in regards to substitutions. And I mean that by he waits for us either to go a goal down, normally to go a goal down before he makes any changes. I think I'm sure Nuno always used to do stuff like that. He would keep our team the same until the other team made at least made substitutions. I can't. What was his theory there? They were weakening their team when they made substitutions or something strange like that. But with Bruno, he needs to start being proactive instead of reactive in regards to substitutions. He needs to look at the game 55, 60 minutes. If it's there for the taking, which it was on Sunday, think, what do I need to change now to win this football match? And instead, he waited for them to go 1-0 up. And like Jord said earlier, our record after going behind is not good enough. So there's things, and it's his first year in the Premier League, and first year in a different country and whatnot. So he's going to learn. He's learned loads. You can tell he's changed as a manager. But I remember, and this is going to be ages ago, Matt. I'm sure a lot of our people probably didn't even listen to this podcast. Last game of the season after the Europa League, we played Sevilla. And I remember Nuno had said that he wanted to change all this style, wanted to change how we played, more attacking. And I said, well, people have got to realise that, if he's going to change it and go more attacking next season, we're going to, yes, we might get some more wins, but we've got to expect some more losses. And that's what's happened this season. Although the games that we're losing, it's not like we're not losing because we're going for it and we've been caught out because we're attacking. We're losing because we've been crap. So that's what needs to change, really. We still have not replicated since the first 3 games of the season. Bar Watford, we've not replicated an attacking performance like those first 3 games.
Everton at home, that's the only other one. For this first
but
half.
Even then, we were a bit ropey, I thought, second half.
Yeah.
Watford game especially, but we've not replicated an attacking performance as good as those. I don't.
You know what makes me laugh as well? Obviously, Lodge played a free-flowing football at Benfica with one of the top teams in a fairly poor league. All the comments are like, what happened to Bruno Ball? I thought we were getting attacking football. I was like, whoa. We've not said that he's going to come in and play this.
No, it's when people say,
playbook.
Why aren't we playing 4-4-2 like he promised? I was like, all right, you find me the quote where Bruno Lage said, I'm going to be playing attacking 4-4-2 football.
4-4-2.
Everyone just assumed that. I assume that. He said it. Yeah.
I remember doing a couple of interviews when he first came in, and everyone's like, well, what's his playing system? I'm like, well, in Portugal, he likes playing a 4-4-2 with 2 double sixes in the middle. I'm like, we can't be fucking further from the truth now. Look, okay, I'm going to clue what I'm on about, but you're right, Dave. The performances have been shit, and these are the types of performances that Nuno was hung out to dry for. And I think Bruno should be getting the same kind of, treatment. Really, he should be criticised for it because it isn't good enough. Burnley are fighting for their lives, and they wanted it more on Sunday, and that's why they won. They're shit. They're a poor side. They're a very poor side, but it came down to who wanted it more, and they managed to get the result. But even when we're chasing the game, there is absolutely no urgency to get the ball forward and to zip it about. You're telling me that Burnley weren't there to be played around. When we did play, they were at 6s, at 7s. So why weren't we doing it? We get the ball, we break, there's gaps appearing, and you get players like Hwang who will just turn into the centre and just lay it off and then just jog off. It's like, where is the urgency? Where is the urgency in the play? It's so annoying.
Yeah, we haven't got it's the same problem we've had since we've come up though in the Premier League, and we've not had a midfielder like it. And again, this is not me saying that we should have, he should have been in our squad when we come up. We've not had a midfielder since that.
Yeah.
In terms of basically someone box to box and we'll try and break through the lines. Like we don't have a ball carrying midfielder as good as Neves, Moutinho are.
They're all very similar profiles.
Also, and then Donker, for me, we still haven't seen him play in his natural position. I still don't know. I know he gets a lot of stick, but if you put him sitting in one of these traditional number 6s in a 4-4-2, he'd probably look half decent because he'd just shuttle along left and right. But every week we're asking him to do a different role. Goes from being like the Belgian Dave Edwards to I don't even know what he was trying to do on the weekend.
What did the Crawley manager say in an interview this week? This player's been in more positions than he would be in a porno film. That feels like. I'm not talking about the other comments he made as well because I think has he been suspended for?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's a strange bloke, mate.
I mean the way he speaks to the press in his post-match interviews is disgraceful. Yeah. But you're right. We need another profile in the midfield. Is Gibbs White the bloke to come in and do it? I don't think so. I don't think he's that man to do that. I think he looks better off the wide positions. One player who I've always liked at Burnley is Dwight McNeil, and I was watching him play on Sunday, and I thought he would be. You know how Bruno almost deploys Dendoncker and Trincao as that. What do you call it, Dave?
Mazzala.
A Mazzala, that's it. A Mazzala, thank you, mate.
Chicken tikka.
Chicken tikka Mazzala, yeah. I think he'd be perfect for that. He's one of those footballers who you put him in the same category as, and I say it all the time, Mahrez, Trincao. Obviously not world class, but
Trincao and Mahrez in the same.
The technique when they carry the ball and the way that they turn. Like obviously Mahrez and Trincao shouldn't be in the same conversation, but the players who've got like really good technique, like he's one of them. And
he's another one.
Perfect.
McNeil's another one that people would judge. Now, we mentioned him, obviously, I think, on the last podcast. And then I saw one person saying, oh, no, he's not actually been good this year for Burnley. And then I actually spoke to a Burnley fan, I think it was on the preview, and he said, he'd been okay. But he's one that people look at his stats and just jump on him straight away. Because I think they said on the commentary on Sunday, he's the player with the most shots this season without scoring a goal. But even against us, he looked like a threat, didn't he? He cut inside, made it difficult for Wolves. Even as a wing back, I know we spoke about it last time as well.
There's a couple of times where he drove into the box, didn't he? And you could say our defence thinking shit. Like, I mean, he took his past two players. I think he'd be perfect for that role. I think they'll stay up, but I think he might be one of those players who goes, and he's English as well, and he's a big lad as well, which I always like to see. So,
bet you do. Get him in.
It's only taken us 22 minutes. So
there you go.
Horrible man. But even when we're chasing the game, we switched to 4-4-2, and surprisingly, we looked even worse. I don't know why he does it. I really don't, because we look more of a threat when we play the five at the back, because though you're used to those kind of passing movements. And when we play the 4-4-2, it looks so unnatural. We looked worse, I thought.
Yeah, I thought Neto looked like a mini soccer player. Like generally, he was like a little kid who's got told just stay wide, get wide.
Yeah.
Like, I think he moved from the touchline, and then and again, I'm not blaming Neto at all. Like I say, I think he's nowhere near fit right now. But look, you're right. Like we went to 4-4-2 and we completely collapsed. It reminded me of the Albion game at home when Nuno took Neves, Moutinho, Cody off. And then everyone was looking around at each other going, well,
what should we do?
Yeah, who's meant to pass the ball? It's usually
That's what I mean. It's like those
doing. And, shambles.
I was going to, literally, just before this podcast, right, I've just come back from football coaching, and this is the same thing that happened on Sunday Wolves. We had a goal kick, right, just now in training. You got your two defenders, two wingers, and just a massive hole in the middle. I said, so if the opponent gets that, they're just going to run through you. That exactly happened on Sunday when Neto came on. You had the strikers there, the two wingers on each side or whatever, massive hole in the middle. It's like, literally, why is no one getting into that space? And if you got a number 10 or anyone on that pitch in that space there, we're going to create another opportunity. And it's like Burnley just had us on toast because we just didn't move, didn't create anything.
So static, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what like a donut just in the middle of the pitch. Yeah, what's happening here?
Yeah, so, when Lars was at Benfica, when he played the 4-4-2, I think they were almost like inside forwards as well, weren't they? They were cutting inside, and they put Neto straight on the
shadow
left
striker as well. Just come deeper, just pick the ball up, and that's what Silva would have done if he kept Silva on, taken Hwang off. He would have done that. He would have come deep because Silva does come deep to get the ball, he holds up play, and brings other players into play. It would have happened.
I don't get it. He's Bruno's substitutions are terrible. There's only been the Villa game where he's changed something, and we all thought, what is he doing? And it paid dividends. But his substitutions, too, as Dave famously tweeted, when is this clown going to make a sub? Or he did win the game. Have you tweeted that since, mate? Because perhaps that's the magic that we need.
Oh, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to find the tweet now as well. What?
But yeah, the substitutions are terrible, and the comments post match, I don't get. I really don't get. Fans are crying out for some kind of not justification, but put your hand up and say we got it wrong, and it's almost like, well, we tried, and I thought we were a better team. It's like, what game are you watching, man? Yeah, it's annoying when you travel all that way, don't you? And you hear like stuff like that. It's just lip service.
Yeah, it's vanilla, isn't it? No one wants to hear this. It's all, tweet something like "we go again." It pisses me.
Only we can make it right.
The players are it's not just Wolves players, any player, but Wolves players on Monday. We'll continue. We'll learn as a pack. I'm like, just fuck off and do it on the pitch. You know what I mean?
Wolves, we.
Like it's like we'll go again next week. Like you did the same at Newcastle as you did at Burnley. Like it's not going to change, and it just pisses me off. And like you're right, you just wish you'd go. I mean, after when was it the Arsenal game, the West Ham game? He said we played well away. I'm like, mate, what are you watching? Like, I'd rather
The West Ham game was took the biscuit, didn't it?
Yeah, I was like, just be honest, go. Look, we didn't turn up. We were shit, and we'll come back next week. Not all this. Oh well, I think we had like moments. We did this and did that because you just see right through it, and that's where he'll start losing the fans. I think if he keeps coming out with these, and I'm a big fan of him. Like I think he's done a good. I think he's had a great first season. Could have been better, but that's where you lose the fans is when you just start talking shite because people see through it.
People aren't stupid either, are they? You know.
No.
Well, some people are. But...
Yeah. No, but like it will get to a point where, like Bruno, you said that 4 weeks ago, and the same thing.
It's going to be solutions gate all over again. Isn't it?
No solutions. Like you can only say solutions so many times, but it's like, well, you know, it just gets tiresome.
I don't know about you lot, and I was thinking about this the past like 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if it's like personnel, but I don't really feel connected to this team. Like the team that came up in the season in the first season in the Prem, I felt like I would run through brick walls for that team. Whereas this, like, it just feels like a bit of a disconnect. Maybe it's because Bruno doesn't give the sound bites that Nuno used to give, and again, flip service and dreaming it for free, whatnot. But I don't know. I just feel a little bit disconnected from it all.
I think one of the things, as mad as it sounds, is probably that we're not scoring a lot of goals.
Perhaps,
I think when you're scoring a lot of goals and stuff, especially at home, so it's everyone proper up for it. And the amount of times we've heard people complaining about the atmosphere and stuff like that. When you got entertaining football and scoring goals, that's what gets the crowd rowdy and up for it. You're celebrating a lot more, and I think that's how you get the connection with players. And the fact that we haven't scored a huge amount of goals probably doesn't help that. So.
Yeah. I think it's just a bit stagnant as well. It's the same squad, isn't it?
Predominantly
the same squad for like 4 years, and I think that we see them every week, and like you sort of we're playing the same sort of systems, and it sounds ludicrous to say he won't change, doesn't it? When you're out from the Premier League, when you look at what other teams are doing around us in the Midlands, and saying look how good you got it, but I do generally think it's just gone a bit stale. And those first 3 games, like it's been touched on already. I know we lost all 3 games, but it was brilliant. And I know it sounds stupid, but it was brilliant. And like it's just gone back to, I feel like we're watching a diluted version of Nuno's Wolves at the moment. And
the first 3 games, though, like we lost them, but you say if you lost the first 3 opening games of the season, usually we think, fucking hell, we're going to struggle here. But I had absolutely no doubt in my mind that we would kick on because of the way we were playing. But then, like the Watford game, we got the result, but it was pretty shit to watch, and it was not been many performances this season where it has been good to watch or it's been free flowing. And I don't care if it's good to watch if you're winning games. I do not care because no one's gonna look back at the season when you won the FA Cup and thought, yeah, but they played shit for most of it. No one cares. But when you don't get the results, and I said this about Nuno's reign, don't care if we're winning, but when you're not getting results, that's when it becomes a problem. And 60 feet out the last 8, it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, but it's not just that; it's where you're passive in games as well.
Yeah.
So, like Newcastle, really passive. Burnley, I thought we were passive for large parts of that second half. It's where you come off. And, well, you're watching it going. There's more. There's another 10% in this team, and we're playing like with a break on. Like, if you're winning, you're okay with it. You get away with it, and you move on. But we just miss chances, don't we? In terms of Sunday was missed 3 points. Newcastle's missed 3 points, and somehow we're still in the Europa League. Well, shot.
There's no consistency in the performances, is there really? Like when, for argument's sake, with Dyche at Burnley, they always knew what they were going to get. They knew they weren't going to dominate the games. They knew they were going to rely on set pieces and whatnot, and that's what the fans knew was going to happen. Whereas for us, like we're going from one game where we play this where we've been on the front foot and been like even Sunday, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. First half, we like all over him, and it was like class. And I thought, right, we'll carry on like this, and it's a definite 3 points.
So I thought
it's like he put out another 11 second half. I don't know what he said to him half time.
I think Burnley wised up a little bit to it, which we expect. Teams do change at half time. We see it every single game because I noticed it in the first half with Jimenez almost coming in a little bit deeper and Semedo going out wide. Charlie Taylor was caught in no man's land, and we had a lot of joy doing that. Now, if you look in the second half, they packed that area out. But you're telling me that, okay, they've identified that and they've nullified it, then we can't find another part for us to play through. It was like, fucking hell, they know what we're doing now, we're fucked. Look, and it was like, that was it. It's never plan B, it's plan A.1 or plan 8.2.
You said that in the fans reacting. There was a lot of people, to be fair, Matt, in the comments saying, yeah, I agree exactly what Matt's saying. But you're right. It's like, we just can't.
Change.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. 12 months, what a difference. Yeah.
I know. Bet, mate, though, mate, me and you nearly had a very good week. We finished just outside the top 5, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did, mate. I'm pretty sure you did.
For what? I ain't checked, mate. The Burnley game. 16th.
I finished 13th. There was a point difference. So obviously, I finished above you because normal service resuming, etc., etc. But Liam Tazza at 97 took home £60, and this bloke, he absolutely pissed it, mate. 80.5 points. The closest next was 71.5.
Have you seen his team though?
One of the biggest. I'm going to read it out now.
Burnley, mate.
He did, but I think that's the way you do it, mate. If you've just got to put your bollocks on the line, haven't you, and pick one team, which is what I've done for the Brighton game, which I'll come on to in a bit. But he went Nick Pope in goal, 14 points for Nick Pope for what he was doing. He had Johnny Roberts, Vice Captain McNeil, 18, Captain Brown, 18 points, and he picked Veghorst and Vidra. And he absolutely smashed it. So congratulations. Special mention to XGJHP as well, who is Joe. He's a avid listener to Talking Wolves. He always comments in down below. So thanks for your support, mate. He finished 5th. He's been doing all right on BetMate recently.
He won the last 2 games. I think he entered one of the ones last night as well.
Yeah, so he only took home £12, but you know what? It's better than nothing, isn't it? So congratulations to those who finished in the top 5. Dave and I will be back stronger for the Brighton game. So let's talk about the Brighton game on Saturday. I won't be going. I've got to isolate because I'm flying on Monday, so I'll be watching it from my sofa. And you know what? I feel like I might be watching it from behind the sofa after last Sunday. You never know what you're going to get with Brighton, do you, Jord?
No, I think there's a bit of I would say a weird loving of Graham Potter, but I actually think he's a decent manager, to be fair. And I think that they've gone, they beat Arsenal and Spurs in the last 2 away games, haven't they, as well, I think.
Have they?
Yeah, I think they beat 1-0, didn't
Spurs,
they?
yeah.
Spurs, yeah. Or 2-1 at Arsenal, wasn't it? So you're right. I think they're a good team. They're dangerous. They can hurt you. They've got a few players that I quite like. I think the wing-backs are quite good. I think Cucurella is a very unsung player in the Premier League. Lamptey, if fit, is another good, solid wing-back as well. And they'll make it difficult. They're a bit of a bogey team for us. And, you might as well flip a coin at 255 in terms of what Wolves team are going to turn up. I think we turn up, we win. If we don't turn up, we get turned over. I think it's as simple as that.
Dave, what's your team selection and shape for Saturday?
Oh, I went back on BetMate. If we made my BetMate team,
no, not your actual team. No, I'll ask you that in a bit, mate.
I think he's got to stick with the 3-4-3. I think you got to go for it. Obviously, Sarr. Don't know what the situation with Kilman is, so let's pretend it's the same. I'd go same back 5, same middle 2, and this is as mad as it because we are thin on the squad. Striker, I don't know, man. I'd like to see Jimenez Silva proper front 2, not Jimenez out on the wing, and I would like to see if it Pedence is like a number 10, just as that like free roam. But I think it's probably going to be Hwang, Jimenez, and don't know who else. Maybe Neto, but again, I don't think he's fit. I'd love to see Chiquinho given a go. Don't know what the situation is with Trincao, but we paper thin again, which is frustrating.
Pedenti's he's got a poorly toe, hasn't he, or something?
Has he? Strap it up, get him in.
Yeah, it's apparently he's got an uncomfortable pain in his foot.
Poorly toe.
Well, it could be a poorly toe. I don't know.
Is that the medical term?
I think so. Yeah, mate. He's out with a poorly toe. But if he's fit, he's got to play. There's rumours that Neves might be back as well.
I don't think he'll start. I reckon he'll be someone that comes off the bench, maybe 60 minutes. So.
If they're chasing the game, maybe.
Don't know. Would they? Oh yeah, maybe if we're winning, I don't think we'll risk
No,
him.
you wouldn't risk him, would you? Hopefully they don't rush him back. But it's I don't know. Jord, what's your team? Because I don't even know anymore.
I probably agree with Dave if Podence is fit. I think he's well, for whatever happened, Trincao looked like an absolute world beater, didn't he, against Leeds?
Yeah, I said to sign him after that.
And then fucking Newcastle. I mean, to be fair, they're all bad at Newcastle, but he was really bad, wasn't he? And you can tell, I think all those rumours came out like we weren't signing him, and you could tell in that performance at Newcastle, like, well, fuck you, then I can't be arsed. And I'd go same back five. I think it's unfortunate, really, Johnny's form as a right wing back, but I think you've got to play Semedo right wing back, Johnny left wing back. Bolly, Cody, Kilman for me if he's fit. Dendonka, Matinho, Podence, and then I'd like to see Jimenez and Fabio up top, but there's no way he's doing it. I think he'll go Hwang. He'll go Hwang, Jimenez, and like I say, we're paper thin, aren't we? And this is the frustrating thing where, again, whatever you think of Adama Traore, he's a bit of a Marmite figure. He's better on being on our bench than he's Barcelona's bench, where he's not kicking a ball. It's the strangest transfer.
It's looking stranger by the day, isn't there? There's loads and loads of rumours circulating around particular situations. One that's doing the rounds is that he's going to come back and sign a new contract, which I can't see happening. I really can't. But at the minute, we always say, screaming out for Adama, but like Sunday was. Sunday was. And it's another profile, something that can add a little bit different. I think the only way he plays Silva and Jimenez together is if Podence plays on Saturday. But saying that though, like the game on the game on Sunday, it wasn't a out and out 3-4-3. It was fluid. Sometimes you had the 1 and a 2. So
I think he works with the right players.
He does, but Hwang isn't that player to do it. I don't think.
We got the ball in the right areas a couple of times. Just needed somebody in the back, to stick it in the back of the net.
Semedo put a wicked ball across the box in the first half.
Silva did as well, I think, towards the end of the first half. Yeah.
No one's gambled. Same as last year, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really tough game on Saturday. But if there is any glimmer of hope for Europe, and we said it against Burnley, this is absolutely must win, 110%. If we get anything less than a win from this, it can't happen. I still think we need to beat Brighton, beat Norwich, and beat either one of City, Chelsea, or Liverpool. Probably Chelsea.
We'll lose to Brighton, lose to Norwich, and do the other three. I reckon. It'd be the Wolves' way, wouldn't it? Typical Wolves.
Yeah. Maybe. Dave, talk me through your team for the BetMate game against Brighton. So it's £3 in, and it's £150 minimum payout. And of course, be gamble aware. Dave, what's the winning team going to be, mate?
Well, I'm hoping lots of people will join in. We're up against actually another channel as well. We're up against a Brighton fan channel, Seagulls Social.
Last time we did this, we took the piss, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. Channel. So we for the Newcastle game, although Wolves lost, me and Matt smashed it. We beat the Magpie channel. They had to wear a Wolves shirt on their next podcast. So I'd assume the forfeit is the same. So it looks like Matt's got a Brighton shirt on now, to be fair. But next podcast, we might be wearing a Brighton shirt. Although it's an all right number. Their homes.
It's blue and white stripes, mate.
Yeah, I know, but it's like a little night gold tick. It looks smart. Okay. My team is Jose Sarr, Willy Bolly, because I just thought he was a tank on Sunday. Cucurella, or however you say his name. Sasado, yeah, the Brighton midfielder, alongside Matinho, and a front two of Jimenez and Hwang, subject to change because, if Bruno watched the same game I did, Hwang probably won't be starting. But you never know. It's Bruno live.
So I've gone a little bit different, and again, this is subject to change because, as ever with BetMate, you can change your team for up to 5 minutes before the kickoff. So this again, subject to change. I've gone Sanchez in goal. I've gone Veltman and Cucurella, Captain Cucurella. I've gone Bissouma in the middle because he's an absolute interception machine. Matinho, vice-captain, Silva and Hwang up top. I'm hoping that Silva gets a nod over Jimenez, and it'll be Hwang and maybe Trincao. That's why I've picked him. Jimenez doesn't even get on the bench for me at the minute. I've gone with Sarr, Johnny, Saicedo, and Danny Welbeck. This is how bad it's got.
Scraping the bell,
man. So again, it's subject to change. I think Jimenez will start. So if that is the case, he'll come into the team for me. But yeah, that's hopefully going to be the winning team. But like Dave said, we're up against another fan channel in this. I'd imagine there's going to be a forfeit. I don't really want to be wearing a blue and white top. I don't think you do either, Dave. So
I mean, it'd be nice to add it to the collection, but I'm not going to be wearing it. I hope not on the.
If they buy you a top and you're allowed a name and number on the back, what are you going to have? You're going to have a player.
I was going to say Basuma, but he's going down for some dodgy shit, isn't he? So
I don't
probably
know.
not.
No, you're not. No, maybe Cucurella.
Yeah, I like his trim, to be fair.
So
I'll grow mine out. What? Yeah. Little beehive.
Yeah. So that's it. The game on Saturday. It's £3 entry and £150 minimum payout. So yeah, make sure you join that, and of course, be gamble aware. And if you want to join, link is in the description below. Right then, lads. Percy bomb today. John Percy bomb, which is, as Dave said earlier, which is quite fitting considering season ticket prices are going to be announced probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Links today with Goncalo Guedes from Valencia. It's not a transfer window or even a Talking Wolves video about that link coming up. It's an easy link to make, and it's a link I'm fairly happy with, Dave.
Yeah, big Gonzalo. Yeah, I mean, he, like you say, he's linked genuinely every transfer window. I just quickly look now this sort of time last year to see what sort of rumours came about, to see when just before the early bird was released, and Guedes was one of them, to be fair.
But yeah, I think names out of a hat yet. Jeff and Scott Sellers.
Yeah. I think when we spoke about it a couple of months ago, obviously you looked into it, and he'd been playing quite a lot centrally for Valencia as well. So can players like that,
Gomez.
Yeah, as a left-sided or like as a second striker almost. So, I think his output and his goal contributions has been a lot better this season. And obviously he's Portuguese, so fits the bill.
Yeah, if in terms of a box ticking exercise, he really does fit the bill. Yeah, he's played mostly up top in a 4-4-2 with Maxi Gomez, who, and if you ever watched them play, he's a bit of a lump, and he's been almost playing a little bit shorter than him. But like Dave just said, he can play off the left, he can play off the right, and Wolves do look for players like that, don't they? They look for players
versatility, isn't it?
Versatile. Yeah. He's out of contract as well the end of next summer, which rumours suggest that he could be available for around £12 to £15 million, which is, considering that's what we spent on Hwang, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer, Jord.
Yeah, if he's available, it's a good profile. I haven't seen him play for a little bit because I know that, since La Liga TV came out, I haven't got it, so I haven't really watched a lot of him, but I've seen that he's been scoring goals and getting the plaudits and stuff, and it just sounds like a Wolves signing, doesn't it? So for me, it's a green tick for me. And if he wants to play with a lump next season, we can get Keith Moore, I'm sure.
Yes.
Push the agenda, mate. Me and Dave have been getting to get him in for age. Where is Keith Moore at the minute? Is he at Bournemouth?
He went to Bournemouth, didn't he?
Bournemouth,
yeah. Did he go on loan or permanent?
I think permanent. They're signing for Jack Orr, man. I want to see what's his goal record this year. I've not seen him score.
I don't think he scored many. I remember that was it the summer deadline we were looking at him? Wasn't it the summer window?
Talking about getting him, weren't we?
Fucking hell,
he's played once at Bournemouth and scored 0 goals.
I think he's been injured, hasn't he? I know that Solanke's been
he's banging him in, to be fair,
as well. So
yeah. I know it's all also suggested in the John Percy article. If you want to read this, go on to Twitter, look at Talking Wolves. We've linked to it, or look at obviously the Telegraph website. Obviously a very good place to look for it. Link with Hugo Ekitike, the 19-year-old forward who plays in Liga 1. Had quite a good season this season, but there seems to be a whole host of top clubs looking at him. I know he rejected the move to Newcastle in January. I think they bid around 25 million for him. I think they were holding out with something ridiculous. Whether that's like
they accepted the deal. They accepted the deal, and he rejected the move. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So
a 19-year-old, quite a big lad, but from what I've seen of his 3 minutes highlights clip on YouTube,
Welcome to Newcastle. I watched good video.
The next Raul Jimenez question mark. Yeah, he looks to be quite an agile player, but it says within that article that Wolves are prioritising a striker. Do you think that's something we need to do, Dave? I know we spoke about it previously on this pod.
I think so. I think we definitely need one. One, I think we need one anyway. But two, I think I've got as good a chance as Jimenez and Silva at scoring a goal for Wolves at the minute, and I'm gash. So, yeah, I think we need one. Is Ekitike the answer? I don't know. Never seen him play properly, so I do like the look of him. But you could put a 3-minute highlight of my best bits, and I'd look all right as well. So.
To be fair, the one you put up on Twitter when you played in goal at Molineux, you actually look a world beater. So
one save at Molineux, yeah. Oh, and one of the Fancast game.
Yeah, mate, you did absolutely. You kept him at bay, mate. It could have been.
Yeah,
Jord played against us that game.
He scored 7 goals in 9
behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
To credit to Jord, I didn't even realise he was playing. So
scored twice as well.
No, you didn't. Can't defense who's getting him any messing, mate. The article from Percy said, who's usually bang on the money to be fair, has stated that Wolves are targeting a right-centred centre-back in the summer too, with the plan to move Max Kilman from the right to the left of a back three. Jord, is that something that you would welcome, but would you also welcome keeping Connor Cody in the side? Because I'd imagine that's what that means.
So I think on my debut on here, I said about I'd rather have Kilman on the left because you've almost got that out ball, haven't you, playing, rather than cutting in and playing it. I saw a load of comments about it all saying, why are we playing? We're still keeping 3 at the back. And now everyone's turning on Cody. It's all Cody's fault that we're playing 3 at the back. Like, 3-4-3 is not a negative formation. If you're playing it with intent, and we've seen it at times this season, it can be, the formation, it can be as attacking as you want it to be. And I don't mind it. I don't mind us playing 3-4-3 because I think, it allows the wing backs to get forward, and when it's fluid, it looks great. But we do definitely need centre halves. I think size will be off. I think that Bolly, there's a question mark still there, although I think he's looked good since he's come back into the side. Like I said, the whole team could do with a refresh, which is something I said about earlier. I'd welcome new players in most positions, to be honest with you. And it does seem like we'll end up having to sell to buy, which is the only alarming thing. But yeah, the team does need a bit of a refresh. So yeah, I welcome any good players that will come and help the team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same, mate. It does feel quite stale. And it does need a refresh. I'm okay with sell to buy as long as A, we're getting a good enough fee for the players we're selling, and we're not just lining Mendez's pockets, and B, we replace them with the right players and players who are going to come in and not just improve the squad, but improve the 11, because that's what we need. And I think that, personally, Wolves could spend 100 million this summer and still not finish 8th next season. Because I think there's going to be so many teams around us that are going to strengthen. Villa will strengthen, Newcastle will strengthen. If West Ham manage to get into the Champions League, they'll obviously strengthen. It's going to struggle, man. It's going to be a big job.
Yeah, even teams around us right now, like United, they're obviously going to have a huge change, under Ten Hag. So, yeah, we got to. And what I sort of hope happens from almost like a selfish point of view, so people don't annoy me on Twitter, is that almost the same Patricio and Sarr debacle, that we found out we were getting rid of Patricio, but we knew Sarr was going to be the replacement straight away. I don't think I can cope with a couple of weeks of Twitter knowing Neves is going or leaving without knowing a replacement's coming in. If they say, right, Neves is going, but Wolves have identified Palhinha as a target and close to agreeing a deal or whatever, then sound, because we know Palhinha is going to be the man. But if we go 2 or 3 weeks on Wolves Twitter, just knowing Neves is leaving with no replacement, it's going to get nasty, I'm sure.
I personally think that this summer, if we have a really bad window and Neves goes and we don't sign adequate replacements or don't make a marquee sign, I think I can see it turning. I really can. I feel like it's been, and it's certain corners of Twitter, but it's been bubbling for the last couple of seasons. There's even the hashtag Fosin out, which I don't agree with, but it generates, especially if during transfer windows, reactive fans are. But I can really see it turning if it's not a strong window. Really can. But it does say in the article and believe what you want to believe. It may be ulterior agendas for why this article's come out, but it says Wolves weren't keen to spend in Jan, but are keen to spend in the summer. So who knows? It's what as I always say, make your judgments at the end of the window, not before. So we shall see. Would you like to do a quiz, boys?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. So same premise as the last couple of podcasts. So you got 30 seconds to ask me questions, all for yes and no questions. You got to try and guess a player in 30 seconds. Once the 30 seconds is up, you get a guess. You get a guess. Let me just get my stopwatch out. Jord, would you like to go first, mate?
Yeah, go on then. Go on
Sure.
then. It's debut quiz.
So these are players from, I'm just looking now, from 2006 onwards. And this includes current players too. So and if people aren't sure what the quiz is, so you could ask an example: is he French? Did he play under Nuno? That kind of stuff. Okay, Jord, you have 30 seconds to tell me who this Wolves player is I'm thinking of. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Did he play under McCarthy?
No.
Did he play under Jacket?
No.
Nuno?
Yes.
Portuguese?
No.
From the UK?
No.
Did he play midfield?
No. 10 seconds.
Was he a wing back?
Yes.
Silvio? No, I said Portuguese.
No.
Silvio. It's not Silvio.
No. Time's up.
Rob Bennett. No.
Time's up. You've got one guess. So he played under Nuno. He's not Portuguese. He's not British. He's not a midfielder, but he is a wing back.
Can't think. I've got to pass. I reckon Dave's got it in the bag.
I think I know. Well, I've got a guess.
Dave, who is it?
Afosuayi?
No, it's not. It's Marcel, mate.
Oh, that was Bayer. That was easy, wasn't it? Oh.
Fucking Afosuayi.
I thought, yes, come on, I've got it.
George's guess was better.
When I said it was Portuguese, and then I still said,
So even if you say he's Portuguese, yes, it doesn't really narrow it down to anyone.
Yeah. No, it's a shit question to ask. I'm learning.
You're learning, mate. You're asking the right questions, though. I mean, most of the questions are: did he play under ex-manager? Did he sign from? What position? Did he play right back? Is he French? That kind of stuff. So, Dave, you've got 30 seconds to tell me who this Wolves player is I'm thinking of. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Did he play under McCarthy?
Yes.
Is he still playing now, or is he retired?
He's retired. Yes. Okay. No, he's not. No.
What? So he's not playing now?
No.
So, okay. Did he play during the championship season?
Yeah.
Was he British?
Yeah. 10 seconds.
Was he defender?
No.
Midfielder?
Yeah.
Did he play in the Premier League with us?
Yeah.
Was he Welsh?
No. Time's up.
English? Oh, shit.
Time's up.
I did do well there, Jord. I didn't ask the right question. This could be anyone, man. Carl Henry.
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Oh, get in.
Jesus.
Don't worry, Geordie. He hasn't seen the notes. These are my notes. He's not seen them.
That was shot in the dark, that is, though. Jesus Christ.
Could have been anyone, to be fair.
It could have been David Jones. It could have been that. Who else? Michael Mancian.
Yeah.
Not again. That one did me last time.
Jord, you've got 30 seconds to tell me who this Wolves player is I'm thinking of. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Did he play under Nuno?
Yes.
Is he a striker?
No.
Is he a defender?
No.
Midfielder?
Yeah.
Is he Portuguese?
No.
Is he a central midfielder?
Yes.
Is he
10 seconds.
African?
Yes.
I think I've mentioned him on the pod already. I'll go for Alfred N'Diaye.
Correct. It's Alfred N'Diaye.
Well
done, sir.
Get
well done.
What a player.
Superb. You're getting the hang of it now. Look at him. He's well invested. David has a party. You have 30 seconds to tell me who this Wolves player is I'm thinking of. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Did he play under McCarthy?
Yes.
Championship season.
Yes.
Is he retired?
No.
Ooh, defender,
No.
midfielder,
No.
striker.
Yep.
Still playing out. Welsh.
Yeah.
Sam Vokes.
It's Sam Vokes.
Yeah.
Sam Vokes. You're on fire, mate. You're on fire.
Come on now. I thought you give me the hard ones with McCarthy as well. But to be fair, I would have bottled both of those that Jord had.
Yeah.
So.
Jord, you've got 30 seconds to tell me who this Wolves player is I'm thinking of in 3, 2, 1, go.
Did he play under Nuno?
No.
Did he play under Bruno?
No.
Solbakken?
No.
McCarthy?
Yes.
Is he retired?
Yes.
Was he defender?
Yes.
Was he British?
Yes.
Fullback?
Yes. 10 seconds.
Left back?
Yes.
You're
You're nearly there.
English?
Yes. Time's up.
Matt Hill?
Yeah.
How's he got that? No way.
Soon.
Matt
That is specialist. That is specialist. This is textbook trivia.
Yeah.
It really is.
Even I wouldn't have got that. Matt Hill.
I know. I was like, edging. Go on. Go on. Go on.
No way.
Superb.
I'm a roll then.
Superb stuff. David has a party.
I don't think I could top that.
You've got 30 seconds to tell me who this Wolves player is, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Did he play under McCarthy?
No.
Solbakken.
No.
Saunders.
No.
Nuno.
Yes.
Championship season?
No.
Oh, Premier League. Okay. Defender?
No.
Midfielder?
No.
Attacker?
Yes. 10 seconds.
European? Sorry, my dogs. Even my dogs are getting involved. European striker. Portuguese?
Oh,
It's a tough one. Got to be stern though, mate. Can't be showing favoritism.
Striker, Nuno, Premier League, European, yeah?
Yep.
Did I say it?
Yeah. But you don't know if he's Portuguese or not.
Fuck. Did I ask Championship as well? You said no.
Yeah, he's not playing the Championship.
jeez.
Well, that's probably his fucking level.
Fabio Silva.
Not Fabio Silva. Jord, you've got the chance to steal it and take home the dub.
Right, let's think about this. Striker, Premier League. Oh, I didn't play in the Championship. Who didn't play in the Championship but played in the Premier League?
He's European. He's a striker. He's playing in the Premier League. He's not Fabio Silva. He's not Portuguese.
You just give him the. You just told him he's not Portuguese. What's that about?
Have you gone rogue here and done something weird? I'm going to take an absolute stab because I can't think of anyone signed up front.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Chem Campbell.
Patrick Catrona.
Oh,
Obviously.
Come on, boys. Come on, mate. There's an open goal there. There's a tap. He could have wheeled away. And yeah, I even told it he wasn't Portuguese, which I shouldn't have done. I shouldn't be showing
My dogs
favouritism,
distracted me, man. If my dogs weren't barking, I would have been in there.
All of me is excuses, mate. Right, it's question time. A little bit pushed for time. We're well over at the hour mark now, but let's get into it. These usually take about 20 minutes anyway. Starting with Twitter, thanks for those who sent in the questions. As always, had quite a few. Normally after a defeat, we get loads. A lot of them are duplications or there or thereabouts in the same questions. Andy Willis has asked, lads, it seems too much of a coincidence that Wolves seem to bottle it when we have huge games under both Nuno and Bruno. What are your thoughts on this? Is it tactics and underlying culture or being too nice?
Well, I think Jord spoke about it before, and I've mentioned it. I always look at the game against Albion when we lost, and you could just see there was fight. You know, they wanted it, and even Burnley. You know, to be fair, I say that Burnley. I don't even think they needed to roll their sleeves up on Sunday. Like, we made it easy for them, but there have been games against teams like the Albion, especially when he just like they were celebrating. You know, clearing the ball from a corner or whatever. So I think it is personnel. Definitely, because it's happened over the last 2 years. We've had two different managers. So I think it comes down to personnel. So I think that sort of leader type player, is definitely something that we need to start looking at. And I think the way our recruitment is, yes, we tend to go with these younger players, normally Portuguese or European. So I don't think people would be against one or two more experienced pros to sort of help out with that sort of thing, as long as they're the right sort of player for our team.
Yep. Paul Nichols was asked, should Campbell and Chiquinho be given a chance versus Brighton? It couldn't be any worse, Jord.
No, like I'm not averse to it, but I don't.
Not when there's still games to play for.
Yeah, we've still got stuff to play for, and I know that Chiquinho's had there's quite a lot of fanfare from on Twitter, but I think of the limited amount of minutes down the pitch, I think he looked really green. I'm not saying there isn't a player there, but he's not someone who I'd necessarily trust from the start at all right now. Still stuff to play for, a bit too soon. I think if we lose to Brighton, we can start planning for next season. That would be my approach to it.
Daniel Patrick has asked, what do you think that Aït-Nouri has been left out of the side for the last 3 games? Do you think Bruno is trying to use tough love and get him training like he plays, or is he just not fancied by Bruno?
I think again, this is something we've spoken about before. I think in terms of discipline, I don't think he's he's not on top of things in regards to punctuality, let's say. So there's stuff like being late and so on that we've known of, and that's not going to that's just going to piss the manager off really. So I think there's that, and again, I've said it before. He's been good this season for us, Aït-Nouri, but it seems like an absolute age since we've seen him play. I just don't know if there's something going on behind the scenes there. That's something we don't know about. Maybe now Johnny's back, he could be the next left wing back. Talk about shock departures. Maybe Aït-Nouri could be out the door in the summer. I don't know.
Was he linked with PSG before?
Yeah, before we got him, wasn't he?
PSG Palace was the one he was linked with, believe it or not, because of the French link. Neto was the one linked with PSG.
The French connection.
Wasn't he man of the match before we signed him for Angers or Angers?
Yeah.
PSG.
Angers, that's what you for Angers t-shirts that we've made.
Angers. Well, for Angers against Mbappe and Neymar. I remember them sort of lapping him up, then we signed him.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to say, it's not in it, but I think the Kiana Hover comments were aimed at maybe more than just Kiana Hover.
It definitely was, yeah.
And I've Aït-Nouri in that bracket as well.
Tyler has asked, is Morgan Gibbs-White part of the answer to our lack of goals next season? And if not, what would each of you like to see for him? Personally, I'd like to see him be brought back as long as we adapt the system to fit him in. I feel like the system we play currently, unless it's almost that third midfielder, I don't think he suits. So if not, I'll be sending him out on loan or flog him if the money's right. Dave? Yeah,
I mean, he had a good pre-season last year. To be fair, the last few pre-seasons, I think he's been very decent. Even in the Asia Trophy, he did really, really well. And it's just that I think he's unfortunately been one of a few players where Wolves, under Nuno and under Bruno, have not had a system that suits their strengths. And I'm not saying change the whole formation just to suit Morgan Gibbs-White, because that's never going to work. But for this year, he had a really good pre-season, started off the season quite brightly, did really well against Forest in the Cup, but he just wants to be playing games. And I know he was a bit peed off when he came back from his loan last year, and after the Swansea loan deal, and Nuno barely gave him a kick. So he just wants to be playing football. If we can find a system that's going to suit him and give him a good amount of 60 to 75% of the minutes, then I think he'll be grand. But at the moment, he's a player playing with confidence, with no pressure. And just look at what's happening. He's been I know I've seen the Championship Team of the Year, but I know a number of people have said that he should have been involved in that as well.
Jord, what do you reckon, mate?
It almost feels like, for me, and again, I completely echo what Dave said there. I don't think we've ever played a system that suits him. We've been quite pragmatic in our formations under Nuno and more recently Bruno. Once he's changed, I think there's a massive player in there. Put it honest, if he wasn't a Wolves player, we'd probably be saying we should be signing Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah.
From stats alone. But for me, it almost feels like it's just not meant to work here, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know what it is. It just doesn't feel like it's going to work. And I've got there's no reason for that. I think he's a very good footballer. I mean, he's part of that England under-17 World Cup squad who well, there's a lot of good players that come out of that crop of them, and he was one of them. And I I think he will have a great career. I'm just not sure whether it'll be at Wolves, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We'll see.
He's one of those players, I think, that you just can't. I can't see him. I think you're right. I can't see him as a Wolves regular. But believe it or not, if you look at his actual Wolves appearances, he's played a hell of a lot of more games than I think people realise. But I could see him. I think he probably is close to that Premier League level now. But even if Sheffield United don't come up, even a team like Forest, who have got Steve Cooper, who managed him at the Under-17s World Cup, if it's a loan, again, Wolves maybe could loan him out, give him 6 months at a Premier League level to see how he does. Who knows? But yeah, it'd be intriguing this summer, definitely.
Dave, do you remember last podcast someone called, was it Bruce Merciesa? I couldn't pronounce his last name. We wondered where his last name was from.
Yeah.
So apparently it's Maltese, very much like yours.
Oh, I've never heard. How do you spell it?
It's Merciea.
T-I-C-E-A.
Merciea. He said, P.S. last name is Maltese, but he does ask what. See, I don't know his arse from his elbow. This bloke.
I've just googled that surname, and the first thing is gaymalta.com. So,
anyway, Bruce has asked, what do we do with Adama if Barca don't take him? Jord, I'll ask you because Dave decided himself.
Yeah, he's looking at other things on the internet.
Thanks for the question, Bruce. Some of us aren't as rude as Dave. So.
Sorry,
I think he's got to go, and I think it's quite obvious that there's been some sort of breakdown in contract talks or whatever it was, and look, Barcelona is his boyhood club. There's no reason why he wouldn't want to go there. I'm not going to ever begrudge him that, but it almost at the same time feels like he's made his bed and he's got to lie in it a little bit. So I think that maybe he does sign an extension so we get a bit more money for him. I don't see Adama Traore kicking the ball for Wolves again, whether that's with Barcelona or to a club. I can't see him back.
What do you reckon, Dave?
I don't know. I asked a question on Twitter, didn't I, last night or the night before? I just don't know. I don't know. I'd love to see him back if he's happy to be here and does sign a new contract. But if it gets to a point next season, he says, "Oh, I want to stay at Wolves, but still won't sign a new deal," then there's no point. I don't know if the Guedes thing. A lot of people saying both going into the last year of their contracts could just be a straight swap. Keeps Adama in Spain then as well. I don't know. So that could be one to keep our eye on. But I don't know. I saw
a big say in it though.
I saw a poll on obviously Sport, the Spanish website, and they did a whole article. And I don't know where they asked it. Basically, did a poll of do you want to keep this Barca player, yes or no? Did the whole squad, and some were like 80% yes and whatever. Adama was pretty level. I think he just edged into no, but about 55% of the fans said no, and 45% of the fans said yes, they want to keep him.
That's like our fan base, though.
I think it is very, very split, and I've seen Barca fans say the same thing. So. It'll be intrigued, but obviously they don't want to put the hand in their pocket for him. So that's why it was a stupid deal. But according to Scott Sellers, it was the right deal for both parties. So.
Must be true then. Sid Metcalf has asked, and this is the last question, predictions for remaining games. Jord, just results really.
I think I'm going to be realistic here. I think we get a point on Saturday. And then we move on to Chelsea.
Then Man City, then Norwich and Liverpool.
Yeah. City's not been well.
You know what the weird thing is? I feel more confident about Man City at home than I do about Brighton at home. I just think, and I don't know why. I think if there's something for us still to play, we're their bogey team a little bit, aren't we? And I think under the lights midweek, if we still got Europe on the mind, we could cause a shock there. I think we'll end up coming 8th. I think we'll end up coming a bit short. I reckon we'll probably get 7 points from the next 5 games, but I'm not sure in what order or how we do it.
Dave?
Yeah, I think beat Brighton, draw to Chelsea, lose to City, beat Norwich, lose to Liverpool. And I
wouldn't be surprised if we only get 3 more points for the next game.
If my prediction is correct, that gets us Europe.
Let's hope so. Oh, you're a lot more positive than I am about it.
Oh, you got to be. Someone has to be.
Let's hope so. Actually, a couple more questions. And we get this a little a little bit, to be fair, and we'll address it now. Does Connor Ronan get a look in next season?
Well, this is what I was going to say with the, obviously, like Jord was saying as well, with the Morgan Gibbs-White thing. I don't think Connor Ronan is Premier League level, unfortunately, but
Good little
he's
player,
another
though.
player.
Yeah.
He's another player that has unfortunately does not suit the Nuno or Bruno system, because he's a player that gets in those gaps. You know, he's a number 10. It doesn't, no. Even as a winger, I like Morgan. I think if we sat with this formation right now, I would play him as the wide player. And I just don't. Although Connor Ronan's good on the ball, I don't think he's quick and physical enough to play that role in the Premier League.
No. Jord, do you see a future for Connor Ronan at Molineux?
He might make. Nah, not at Molineux. I think it seems like he's had a good loan move. Not that I watch a lot of Scottish football, but you know what? Like for him though, a good career would be. He can still have a good career. I think he could play Championship football from what I've seen of him, and
Like a Barry Bannon.
a little bit of a little Scottish magician in the midfield. You know, one
Even
of those
though he's Irish.
Even though he's Irish.
Yeah.
Irish.
Never mind, mate.
There you go. Slip of the tongue.
It's getting late.
He could, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if he ended up at one of like the bigger teams in Scotland. Maybe not. He might have to go and jump to like an Aberdeen, Hibs, Hearts, and then before he goes.
But he's getting game time now, and I think that's what's important. And similar for Morgan, you know, I think they'll just be happy that they're getting the game time. And the last question is Banksy's or Carlin. It'd have to be Carlin for me. Banksy's is mostly bitter, isn't it, Jord?
Yeah, why are you going to me first with the Banks?
I was going to say,
because Dave won't know. Dave won't know, mate.
No, I'm not. I don't like my bitters either, to be honest with you. So it'd have to, out of those two choices, it would have to be a Carlin.
Well. Okay, let's flip it on its head. What are your top 3 beer choices? Top 3 lager choices?
Ooh,
lager.
This is where it gets interesting.
I'd probably go Estrella.
No, not Senorita Beta. You don't want that, mate.
That's a good shout.
Estrella number 1.
Senorita Beta.
Estrella. Probably Moretti, number 2.
Oh my god, this is terrible.
No, I like these shouts.
And then I would probably go a Peroni, number 3, but I've really let Matt down here.
Italian lagers.
He's a proper little bub.
Yeah, he just really hated my choices. I've been enjoying a Madry recently.
Yes, this is where it comes in.
This has just come back in, isn't it? This is like a proper.
No, Madry's new anyway. It's only came out last year.
That's same brewery as Carlin, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, Molson Coors, mate.
Yeah. And brewed in Burton, but that little Spanish sprinkling in it.
Madrid, yeah.
No, so Madry's on the rise by the looks of it. So
it's the price of it's on the rise as well, mate. It's a joke.
Well, I had one on Sunday in the 7 Stars Old Wintford. Nice little boozer, £4.70.
Is that the one? Is that the one by the train station?
Yeah, by the junction. Yeah.
Yeah, I went in there a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it's all right. The amount of beers I've got on, mate, sport for choice.
Yeah.
Sport for choice, and you've probably after your Madry had a Peroni. Says a lot about you. Good, Dave. What's your top 3 in any order?
Probably under pressure here. John Smith's, Carlin, Foster, Jackie. No, I like a Madry. Mate, I'll drink anything, man. Genuinely, I ain't that bothered about a beer, to be fair. Madry I do like, and I just came across it accidentally a couple of weeks ago. I saw it at the local.
We had one, didn't we? A couple of weeks ago, we went for a mixer.
Yeah. I saw a crate. I was just looking at so many crates of beers. I thought, I'll have that. Looks all right, and it was quite nice. See, I'm partial to a Budweiser, and I know a lot of people aren't a big fan, but I don't dislike a Budweiser, to be fair. I
don't mind a Coors Light either. I know that's all.
No, mate, I am as well. So I don't like the heavy stuff, like stuff like Coors Light is sound. Yeah.
Or Bud Light. For me, it has to be Madry, probably a Stella, and an Asahi, which is a Japanese lager. If you've ever tried that.
You know what makes me like Budweiser even more? I remember a couple of years ago, they asked Talking Walls to retweet a post, and I said, I'll retweet it if you send me a crate of beer. And I'm like, all right then. Fucking 2 crates of Budweiser turned up the next day. Yeah. Sorry, man, I never told you that. I should have kept that quiet.
I was going to say, if it was Madry, I'd have been a lot more fuming, but because it's Budweiser, it's not too bad. Yeah, have you ever tried an Asahi, Jord?
Yeah. It's nice stuff in it.
It's quite loopy, though.
Yeah. But you can't have a go at me for saying my choice and you put Stella in your top 3.
What's wrong with Stella, lad?
You put Stella in top 3. I don't
Stella.
dislike Stella.
It's in at number 2.
No, it's in any order. I'd probably say it's number 3 out of them. But like a lot of beers you get, and like Estrella, which you said, and like Amstel, you get it, and within like 2 minutes, it's flat. Whereas Estella, it keeps going. It's live. It's live for about 3 hours. Not that a pint lasts me 3 hours. I'm not Dave has a party, but
Yeah, it's just not, I don't know what it is. It's a bit hoppy and a bit. I guess the connotation doesn't help with it either. Really, does it? I'd feel
true.
ordering a Stella, it's a bit. Especially if you've got a blue tick as well.
Yeah, you've got to keep your head down. You've got to keep your head down.
Oh dear. Thank you very much for today, boys. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I feel like we've chewed the fat for a lot longer than we usually would. It's always the case after we lose. When we win, it's like, yeah, it's a good game. He was good. Let's move on. But I just think we're as football fans, we like to pick holes and stuff and nitpick. But it's been good. I almost feel like these podcasts are like therapy, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Jord, where can people find you? Should they wish?
If you wish to, Jord Russ 7 on Twitter. And I was going to say other things then, but no, just Jord Russ 7 on Twitter. Only follow me on there, please. On LinkedIn as well, Jordan Russell for all your business.
Yeah, Jord does a LinkedIn post. Recently followed him, and he's very active. I like that. I like that in a man. Dave, where can people find you?
Dave as a party on Twitter and Instagram.
He's still on public on Instagram.
Yeah, man.
Got
to keep the profile up,
I'm on private, so I might
LinkedIn.
come off private though. I don't know why I did it, to be honest with you. Why I did it?
I did it as if I wanted to keep my life private. I literally tweet every day on Twitter. And I thought
there's nothing like nothing we don't tweet. I am M Cooper Writes on Twitter and Matt Cooper Bites on YouTube. If you look at the last review for Matt Cooper Bites, by the way, you'll see Dave's first appearance and his first mixed grill. So go and see how you think the Builders Arms in Wolverhampton fared. And of course, do not forget BetMate Pot on Saturday, £3 in Wolves versus Brighton for your chance to win a share of £150. Be gamble aware. And in true YouTuber royalty fashion, Dave, will you take it away and sign off the show?
Yes, I certainly can. The BetMate game as well is a code. I'll make sure I leave that in the description. It's TLK-BRI to join. But if you listened on Apple or Spotify, please leave us a review, 5-star review. If you've listened on and watched on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, we will see you all very, very soon.